Hello, everyone. I will be starting in about 2 minutes. Some of you have not quite arrived yet, and I'm waiting just a few more minutes until everybody's here. I'm a little excited to do this, and we will be talking about my book, how it became a book, to be honest with you. Okay, I think I can start. Still 1 minute, but people will slowly join us. And in the meantime, I'll just start talking a little bit about the book. So, this is my book. I have two of them. Let me just adjust my screen. There we go. There. So I have two of them. This is the same book. One is deluxe edition, the other one is standard edition. To quickly show you the standard one, this is the back. And the standard, it's all on white paper. So this is the standard book. I will now show you what the first thing you see different. It's got a calendar. It's got a bookmark, QR code, the coming soon book, and so on. And then throughout the book, you're going to see image, which you don't have in the other one. So in general, this book is called Deluxe because it's loaded with pictures and information. It's got author special notes at the beginning and at the end. You will find a few information at the beginning, the image chapters, and much more. So now that I've talked about this, we're going to talk about my journey. What I would like to tell you today is some people been asking me a lot uh, how I started this. How did I become a writer? And I would like to start with gentle information that you can just, um, if anybody wants to become a writer, that might be helping one day. A long time ago, this book, before I start, this book is part of a dream I had that I put on paper, and I'm quite happy with it. So a long time ago, in 1984 to be precise, I was in school doing my upgrading. And while I was doing my upgrading, I um, I wrote a story. I had to do composition to start with, and I wrote a story about pirate. So this story about pirate was very interesting as per my teacher. She really liked it and enjoyed it. And then afterward, I had to do a pre-exam, they call. So I asked her if it was possible to continue from my pre-exam, and she agreed. So she gave me the first part, my composition, that I reread overnight. And the next day when I came back to school, I just she sat me, sorry, she sat me into a private room with a laptop because I have carpal tunnel, so it was easier for me to type. So she sat me with a laptop, and then with this laptop, I was able to uh, start writing the story, the second part of the story. Then the exam came, I think it was a week later, and I had to do the exam again. I asked if it was possible. It was another sort of composition. So I asked if it was possible for me to write this exam from the two first part that I had written. So I was sitting again in a private room with a laptop, no internet. They removed the autocorrect from the program I was using to make sure I wasn't using it for correcting myself. And I wrote the second part of the story. Every part of the story, when I wrote it, the teacher came to me, and the first thing she said was, "This story is great. Do you mind if I read it in front of the class?" I said, "Not at all. I don't mind." So she read the story in front of the class, and the other student, we're talking about an adult class here because this book is meant for adult. And she read the story in front of the class. And after she read the story in front of the class, everybody applauded and everybody was happy about what was happening. And the teacher came to me and said, this story could be a book. At the time, I was 24 years old, had no clue how to write a book, had no guidance on how to do it, and I just dropped it. With time, the school, I finished my upgrading, graduated, and the school got flooded several times. They've lost the USB where two parts of my story was on, and they lost my composition in the flood because the paper got damaged. Unfortunately for me, the story was not available for me to get back. I wanted it back. I did have a copy of it, but because of the flood, my apartment was affected by the flood and I lost my own copy, including the school losing my copy. So afterwards, I went on, life went on, and I just sort of forgot about the story, but never forget it. I never really tried to write a book. I never really meant to become a writer. I never aspired to become a writer, if I can put it that way. Then one day I was talking with my friend Rita on the phone, and her and I were talking about a lot of stuff. And I told her, I said, if I could get that story back, I might be able to publish it and make it become a book. She said, well, maybe back then you didn't have what you have now to be able to make it a book. I said, oh, I don't think so because my story was very well developed and my teacher loved it and told me it could be a book. So time went by, and for years I kept talking about this story. And every time I talked about the story, it always led me to the same thing. It's lost and I can't get it back. Get it out of your head. But that day I was talking with her, and while talking with her, my boyfriend was sitting at his computer and he asked me what I was talking about. So I just, 1 minute, 1 minute. So after I was done on the phone with her, I hung up and then I started talking to him. And when I talked to him, I explained to him the whole thing about the story. He said, well, that's nice. Then the day went on as normal. I went to bed. It was late. I was tired. In the morning, I woke up and I told him, I said, I didn't bother taking a shower, nothing. I just got up and rushed to my computer. I took my computer, put it on me. It's a laptop with a little table. Now I have a desk, but I had a little table. I put it on me on the couch and I started writing. And he said, what are you writing? I said, I have a story in my head and I have to get it out before I forget it. Because if I don't write it while I'm thinking about it, I will most likely forget it. He said, oh, cool. Then hours pass. I started writing at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's now 9 o'clock at night. And he said, what are you writing? A short story? I said, I don't know what it's going to be. If it's going to be a short story or if it's going to be a book, I have no clue. He said, maybe it'll be a novel. I said, I don't know. I have no clue how to make a novel or anything. I don't know how to make a book, period. I just got a story. It's in my head and I want to get it out. I don't want to lose it. The story is great. I dreamed about it most of the night. And when he woke me up gently, pulling me out of my dream. And by pulling me out of my dream, I was able to remember this story. So I wrote for 52 days nonstop. That's all I did. But it was not fancy. It was not a book yet. It was just like a draft. So for 52 days, I just kept on writing. And one day I said to him, I said, maybe I should stop writing and I should start to see if I have enough to make a book. So what I did is I took the book and, well, the story I wrote it in 5 different parts. So when I started, I opened Word document and I wrote 26 to 30 pages. After I was done reading 26 to 30 pages, I moved on to part 2 because I didn't want it to be too big. I didn't want it to be overloading when I'm going to be doing the correction or anything. And I knew it was going to be a lot of work when it's time to do the correction and make it better, embellishing the book, improving it, giving it life. Because a draft is not life, a draft is just plain. I just noticed Terry has joined us. Thank you, Terry. Um, so I just kept on going on like that. And then after 5 part of the book, I decided to put them together and try to see if I had enough for a book. So my part 1 and my part 2 became a book. But when I changed the format, I had 26 page. Don't forget, part 1. I had about maybe 28, 32 in part 2. But once I put them together, I landed with a whole bunch of lines, a whole bunch of pages, and it went from 26 page to 120 some page. And the next one went to 150 some pages. I nearly had 300 pages. I looked at Andy and I said, "This is no longer just a short story. There's too much for a short story. And when I make it better, there's going to be way more than that." He said, "Well, is it going to be a novel?" I said, "I have no clue because I didn't know what I was doing." So by searching online, I found out the format of the novel. There are several kinds of novel. My favorite style was 6 by 9 and 5.5 by 8.5. So the paperback is 5.5 by 8.5, and which is this one here. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and sorry, this one's smaller. This one here. Sorry, this is the 5.5 by 8.5, and then the paperback is 6 by 9, which the hardcover, 6 by 9, which is lightly a little bigger and a little taller, not much. So I decided to make my book and then I embellished it. By the time I was done, I had 450 pages. I gave it to Andy, and Andy is my editor. So he started editing my book. And as he did the editing, we came to a disagreement at some point because I'm supposed to have some survivors. There's a big fight, and there's supposed to be a survivor, and Andy killed them all. So by killing them all, my 4 survivors that were supposed to survive, I didn't have them anymore. So it screwed up the book from chapter 28 to chapter 20 till 28. Now, to be precise with you, online it tells you so many page, like 10 page per chapter. It tells you so many line per paragraph. None of this is actually real. It's just a basic amount to guide you. After I hired a publisher, they told me I had excessive chapter. I panicked. Excessive chapter. What did I do wrong? I didn't know what I did wrong. So I talked with Andy and I said, my publisher just told me I have excessive chapter. What am I going to do? I read this book 30 times and I had to sit down and read it again. And after I read the book again, I managed to take the chapters and merge them together. So the 28 chapters slowly became 13 chapters by the time I was done, which is normal for a novel. Between up to 15 chapters is normal. The amount of page is around 28 to 30. Sometimes you can have more. For the paragraph, 2 to 3 lines. I didn't know that. My paragraph was sometimes a half a page. The speakers, I didn't know that either. I've learned every step of the way. I have learned something different about this book. And I've never stopped learning from the beginning till the end of this beautiful story. Um, I really enjoyed writing this book. And even if it was a dream, I reformat, excuse the light, I reform the other side. I reformat each paragraph so they are more readable But when there is two speaker in one paragraph, the second speaker is being moved to his own paragraph. And this is so the book is more readable at the end. So it was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of work. I really enjoyed doing it. And the story in my head is going around like if it's a film. I'm really feeling like I'm watching a movie when I'm writing. And I'm also feeling like everything's happening around me. To tell you exactly how I do this, I'm in my bubble. That's how I say it. I'm inside my bubble. And when Andy walks around and say flow, and I turn around like you just busted my bubble, I was in the action. I was watching and reading everything that was happening, and he just busted my bubble, and I lost the thread of what I was writing. It was still in there, but I didn't have the same emotion because I was in it. So it took me a few minutes of rereading what I wrote and then get back into the same spirit. And then slowly I felt my bubble forming around me and I was back into the action. And there we go, we're going. And this is happening and that is happening. I'm sorry, I'm itchy. Yeah, so a lot of stuff is happening and I really, really enjoyed um, everything. There's a lot of action in the book. People will say sometime, oh, well, I don't like pirate. Let me tell you one thing. This story is not just about pirate, okay? You may think when you look at it, it's about pirate because you see the pirate ship, you see my pirate and this lady. It's not just about pirate. The book, how could I explain that? It's got a lot of action, suspense, drama, but it also has obsession, desire, forgiveness. It also has a lot of other stuff. Like there's a lot going on. And because of this, I like everything that's going on. I can tell you a small part where it's a novel. I don't want to tell you everything about the book, but I do want to tell you a few little parts without giving the punch. But it made me giggle as I was writing it. Some part made me cry. I don't know if my readers cried when they read it, but some part made me cry and some part made me laugh. Some part I thought was hilarious while I was writing. So in the beginning of the book, the way it starts, it's a naval battle. So the pirate ship will encounter an English ship. Excuse me, I'm itchy. Will encounter the English ship, and aboard the English ship, there's a young woman who is been made captive, and the reason she's captive is because her village has been burnt down to the ground. And it is the English soldiers that did that. And I don't want to tell you why. I'm sorry. I'd like to, but you'll have to read the book to know why. But while she's aboard the ship, she's fearing for her life. These pirates do not spare anybody. They don't make prisoner. They kill everyone and they burn everything down to the ground. No, they're not the one that burnt her village. Tell you that right away. I can tell you this, but I can't tell you the rest. So while she's aboard the ship, she will look at the pirate, the red man, the redhead man, and she will tell him, thank you for saving me. And as she says that, he will say, who says you're saved? I'm still thinking what to do about you. Oh, the chills ran down my spine when I wrote that line. I really, really enjoyed writing this, and it was a lot of fun. Um, Another spot that I really like uh, is Millard. Oh, wait a second. I got to tell you about this part. You see what she's doing? She's stuffing herself. On the English ship, she had been on it for days and they haven't been feeding her very well. And the men were all after her because she's beautiful and they were all after her trying to get under her skirt. You can say it that way. And when she gets on the ship, one meal is brought. There's only enough for one person. And Red proposed to her. Red is him. He's Red. She's Anahi. So Red proposed to her to eat because he's not very hungry with everything that's been happening. So he lets her eat first, and he's settling for whatever will be left. But then again, he says, well, I don't know, maybe I'm not really hungry, you can have it. But she's stuffing, pushing it in her mouth. And he starts laughing, and looks at him and says, I don't like to be laughed at. He says, I'm not laughing about you, but for heaven's sakes, stop pushing the food in your mouth. You nearly died from English soldiers, but there's no need to stuff yourself like a pig and kill yourself from overeating. And then she realized how ridiculous she looks, and she finally slows down. She will also get angry at him. There's a lot of stuff that will be happening. He will get attracted to her, but she will get attracted to him too. This man is his first mate, Millard. Millard will be helping her with a lot of stuff. She can't get out of the cabin. Pirates are very superstitious and they don't believe in two women aboard a ship. They believe it's really, really bad, bad, bad for a woman to be on the ship. It's can even cause a mutiny. And to avoid the mutiny, they hide her. They hide her in the captain's quarter. They don't have quarters, special quarters for a woman. So she has to hide in the captain's quarter. And while she's hiding in the captain's quarter, uh, she can't get out. No food, no nothing. So Millard is the assistant of the captain, first mate. He will bring her food. He will bring her a lot of stuff. Whatever she needs, he'll bring it to her. A little further on, there will be a storm. I'm trying to see if I can find an image or something. I'm not being very lucky. There will be a storm, and her and him will have a big argument about the storm. And she will not be happy because she will realize that they attack a ship, and even though she was aboard, he didn't really consider her being aboard and still attack the ship. So she will scold him, and Millard will try to consolate them. So my poor Millard here is a therapist. He's I don't know what you can call him, but he's a little bit of everything. A marriage counselor, a therapist, psychologist. You can. So anyway, he will bring her a beautiful purple dress, and she will look stunning. So when Red comes back in the captain's cabin, he will be speechless when he sees her. Later on, a lot of more stuff will be happening. When she reaches ground, they have to figure out a way to get her off the ship without her being caught. So the only way they can figure is to disguise her. I am not going to tell you more. I'm sorry. I know you want to know more, but I'm not going to tell you more. So, sorry, I was reading a comment. Um, so yeah, so the story goes on, and this woman will also appear at some point in the book. She shows up in chapter 3. And after chapter 3, she will be in the book until the end. The book has a lot of potential, and I do believe people should be reading it just so you can get into it. There will be a lot going on, and I just invite everybody to enjoy and order the book. I just want to let you all know that on March 20th, the book will go on sale on Amazon. And if you want to order the book, now is the time. It will be on sale worldwide. So just go on Amazon, put the book in your cart, and wait until midnight on the 20th. It will be on sale straight till the 22nd. So don't worry about missing the deal. You have straight till the 22nd midnight to enjoy this deal. So I'm afraid for now, this is all I will say about the book. Um, when I woke up that day and I looked at how much content I had, content I had, I had enough to make 3 books. And after going through everything I had, I have my first book that I'm holding here, and the second book that will be coming out soon. and the third book, which I'm working on as we speak. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. I will be doing another one in about maybe a week or a month from now. I will be doing a French one for people who are French and would like to listen to. I would like to thank everybody who joined me today to watch this, and hopefully we'll see each other again. Thank you for coming. And if you have any question, feel free to drop a question and I will answer to the best of my knowledge. Thank you for watching, everyone. Goodbye.